Hey paisanos, it is I, Mickey Saturn, and I want to start doing these videos talking about just sort of like the news of the day, current events in gaming. And before I get into the first topic I want to talk about, which is Nintendo and their new decision to like seize money from Let's Players, or to like appropriate the ad revenue from Let's Play videos. Before I start talking about that, I just wanted to give a real brief update of like my channel in general and kind of what I'm doing and what's going on. As you may have noticed, I haven't done a gameplay video in about 2 months. This is because I was getting really busy at work and school, and I meanwhile had some like technical problems. I had a video for Little Samson that didn't record my voice, and that needs to be redone. And you know, I've got a different video for Punch Out that's almost done, so you should be seeing that soon. But like probably next week sometime, I'm going to re-record Little Samson. I got a number of games I'm planning to do, so that's not in any way like a dead project. In fact, let me grab my list here so you can see where'd that shit go. There we go. Nope, that's not it. This is it. Check it out. The camera will focus on it. This is a piece of paper. These are all the games I plan to do videos of. It goes onto the back as well. So, I mean, even at the rate of one a week, it would take like a couple of years to get through this. And I don't do them one a week, as you've probably noticed. It's going to be more like one a month. I'll probably never get to every game on that list. So I don't want you to think that just because I did get off schedule that that's like something I'm not interested in. Got some lag here. Let the recording catch up. Anyway, okay. Now, what I'm about to start doing is more like current event commentary kind of stuff, and I had been planning to do that on my blog, which is another thing I haven't updated in a long time. And every time I tried to do an article about the current events, I could not finish it in time for it to remain relevant. And many abandoned articles in that nature. And I've wound up just deciding I'm not going to try to do that. So I think for the blog, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do videos like this and videos like my gameplay. I'm going to start posting that to my blog so that the blog has content getting posted to it. And then as far as written articles, I think I'm going to limit myself to more of like the kind of theoretical articles, the larger articles that I sometimes write about my ideas about game design theory, or more detailed analysis of specific games and things like that. And what that means is there won't be as many kind of written articles, but hopefully I can do these videos a little bit more rapidly and stay on top of things a little better, because I really want to start getting my ideas out there and getting content like this produced. I just think, I don't know, something I'm interested in doing. So that's a little update on that. And now let's talk about the news of the day, the most interesting story out right now as I see it, which is Nintendo is going to appropriate the ad revenue from Let's Play videos. This is strange. I've never seen anything like this before. You recall a few months ago, Sega started targeting Let's Players and people who really had any content related to Shining Force, even like reviews and things like that. They started targeting those people and having them remove that stuff from their channel, or else they were flagging them with copyright flags and getting their whole channel shut down, which is a real jerk move. And the whole Let's Play, or the whole like YouTube community was like, "Oh fuck you, Sega." Appropriately so, right? Nintendo, and they eventually apologized and reversed all that. So, all right. I guess all's well that ends well there, although I still kind of feel like you're dicks. But Nintendo has taken a very interesting tact. They said, oh, well, whatever. We're not going to shut you down. We're just going to have YouTube send all the ad revenue to us. And I really feel like that's almost worse. The more I think about it, there's something very insidious about it. A Let's Play, a walkthrough, a video like that, and those are specifically the videos they're targeting, because unlike Sega, Nintendo has said they're only targeting videos of a certain length. But anyway, so in other words, videos with like a review where you just have a few clips or something wouldn't be affected by this policy. But basically, unlike Sega, Nintendo is saying, oh, we'll go ahead and let you do this video, and it's like free ad for revenue for us. But we want, sorry, it's like free advertising for our game, but we want the ad revenue. And what I feel like is inappropriate about that is that the popularity of a video like that really depends on the personality of the Let's Player or the person doing the walkthrough, and their work is basically being stolen here. So I feel like if Nintendo wanted to say, you don't have a right to use any of this video content, so you're shut down, that would also be a jerk move and stupid. But what they're doing right now is almost even worse. To me, it's like they're stealing these people's effort. And if they wanted to say, you know, we're going to let you do this because we don't want to anger the fan community, but we don't want you profiting from it, so you can't be in the partner program or whatever, your ads are removed, I would have more respect for that. In a way, I would feel like that was them kind of doing a Sega, but not as bad, you know what I mean? But this is almost like theft, I feel like, so I don't really approve. And you know, there is an interesting question here. Let me find my notes. Here we go. And basically the question is, do Let's Players have a right to make money from their Let's Play videos? And I think the answer to that question is yes. I think a Let's Play is fair use. So fair use, if you don't know, is a doctrine that basically says you can use copyrighted content in certain contexts as long as you're not replacing the need for the original product. And one of the contexts in which you are able to use copyrighted material is commentary, criticism, and education. And I would argue that these are all categories that Let's Plays and walkthroughs and things would fall into. And that just kind of raises the question, well, does a Let's Play replace the original work then? Which some people say it does, but I say it doesn't. And I have a whole rationale for why that is, which I'll get into. But just going back a second, I mean, I'm trying to understand if there's even any rationale to argue that a walkthrough or a Let's Play isn't commentary, analysis, or education, or all three, like criticism and stuff. And I really can't think of any, but it does kind of raise an interesting kind of sub-question, which is, what exactly is a Let's Play? You know, is there a difference between a walkthrough and a Let's Play? Or think about someone like Nerdcubed who does shorter videos that are like edited. Is that a Let's Play? Or is a Let's Play only if it's the entire game? You know, because I do think that's relevant, because what Nerdcube is doing is definitely fair use. In no way could you argue that his video is somehow replacing the need for the game. But you could maybe make the case that a Let's Play with minimal or negligible commentary that goes through an entire game is maybe not as easy to argue that that's fair use. You know, and that's where I think Nintendo's whole of a certain length sort of caveat comes into play. Although I think that's, of course, you know, conveniently vague. Like what does of a certain length mean? That could be pretty much anything they feel like at any given time. But let's talk for a second, though, about the basic idea of a Let's Play video replacing a game, because this is really where the most interesting part of the debate starts to arise for me. I would argue that a video of a game could not ever replace the game itself categorically. Like, there is just a fundamental difference here. A game is for playing, a video is for watching, unlike a film where if you played through the entire movie and talked over it like the commentary track on a DVD, you might still argue that that's not fair use, because after all, the entire movie is there as a component of that, but an entire gameplay experience is not there. in a Let's Play video because you're only watching the video. You're not playing a game. So how could that possibly... How could a video replace the game? And people say, well, but games are for the story. But they're not. So this is where a whole huge discussion arises, because I don't think games are for story. In fact, I think story is, is sort of like is more like an element of the game, but by no means the defining attribute or the most important attribute. It's sort of, story is to a game as like the score is to a film. Like a really good score in a film really elevates the film, and you notice it if this film has no music at all. That's kind of, oftentimes that's bad. Other times it's, maybe not bad, but it's always like a very noticeable decision. It's like an aesthetic decision. And so a good score is important. A really bad score is bad. It drags a film down a little bit. But no one would say that a film is for the score. Even though it's an important part of the film, you would never say that the whole film exists to have an excuse to have a soundtrack. You know what I mean? And that's how I feel about narratives in games. It's like, if a game has a really great narrative, that's good, but you don't really need it. In fact, most of the time I feel like the narrative is there to contextualize the gameplay, so anything would work. Like, you could do any simple narrative. I mean, if you think of like the really simple narratives of old classic NES games, like, Bowser kidnapped the princess, Mario, go save that thing. I caramba, did I just call her a thing? I didn't mean to do that. Oh dear, I'm going to be in the next Feminist Frequency video. The point I'm making is, that's sufficient. Like, that contextualizes the gameplay a little bit. You understand kind of what you're doing, and that's really that's the function of narrative mechanically in a video game. And if it's more elaborate than that, like in Mass Effect or something, that's just gravy. But it's still not what the game is for. And if you do have a game that has no redeeming feature except the narrative and the cutscenes, so that by watching a Let's Play and seeing all the cutscenes, I've basically gotten all of the good parts out of your game, to me that's like an admission that you've really designed a really crappy game and you're a really poor game designer. I feel like that's the game developer's problem and not a Let's Play problem. That's not my problem if your game is so bad that people watch my video and don't want to play it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, if the gameplay's engaging and interesting, then watching a video should be encouraging people to play it. And in the course of this whole discussion, it's kind of come to my attention that a lot of people do use Let's Plays to just hear the story, so that and that way they don't have to play the game. And this is really surprising to me. Like, that's not how I use Let's Plays at all. I use a Let's Play if I'm curious about a game and I want to find out if I'm interested in it. I might watch the first couple of episodes of a Let's Play. Or if I've played a game a whole bunch and I want to see someone else play through it, and how do they do it? How do they approach this situation? How do they approach that situation? And what do they think of this or that? I want to hear their commentary on it or whatever. That's another reason I watch. But I've never in my entire life had the experience of saying, oh, I really want to see the storyline of this game, but I don't want to actually play it. Let me watch a Let's Play for that. It's like, that's really surprising to me that that's in any way prevalent, and I feel like that is the most utter damnation like of a game developer. It's like, this is what people think of your game, people. They don't want to play it. They only want to watch the cutscenes. You have utterly failed as a game designer if that is happening to your product. So, good God, I can't believe that's a prevalent thing at all. But apparently it is. That is a little weird. Like, that problematizes the fair use element of a Let's Play a little bit. But most of all, I don't see that as a Let's Player's problem. And I have a whole other theory about this as well, which is that, every time you play a game, it's like a singular experience. And the way you handle a given situation in its specifics will change. The games, obviously different games some games are more scripted than others, but if you like approach a given situation in a game and the first time, like if you think of a game like Metal Gear or something like that, that's a fairly linear scripted game. Screensaver just came on. Oh shit. Let me start that sentence over. If you think of a game like Metal Gear, that's a fairly linear scripted game, and yet from room to room there's a lot of creativity open to the player to solve the challenges of that game in any given way. And I have long believed that the game developer kind of sets the scene, and then the player performs the game, and the player has ownership over that performance. This is in a way, this is sort of like an extension of the whole ludonarrative concept. Like, as a player, I own my specific performance of a game, and if I perform a game flawlessly, it's like, what a great performance, and if I'm kind of fumbling around and not doing so great, it's like, that's not so good a performance, but it's like, it's my performance, it's not their performance. Do you see what I'm saying? So this is, in this way, a Let's Play video is almost like a cover of a song, where it's like, yeah, I didn't write the song exactly, but I made the decision, the creative decision, to perform it in a particular way, and as such, there's some legitimate creation on my part as well. And I want to come back to this point in a minute, but let me talk for a second, too, about just the idea of, is it even appropriate for anyone to profit from something like a Let's Play video? I've seen some people say, I didn't realize Let's Players made any money. And I don't think they should make money. They should be doing it for the love of the thing. And I see this idea pop up from time to time all over the place. People should do things for the love of it. You should play music for the love of playing music, and if you make money playing music, you're lucky or whatever, but that's not why you play music or whatever. Can I just say that this idea is complete bullshit, in my opinion? Say what you will about the whole idea of doing everything for the love of it, but we live in a capitalist society where your ability to not die is dependent on making money, and you make money over time, and that means that time is money, and if you're going to spend time doing anything, unless, I feel like you're entitled to some revenue from anything that you spend time doing, basically. And how much revenue should be determined by the marketplace. In other words, it depends on how popular you are, and how much people like it, the thing you're doing. So, I don't have any problem with Let's Players making money. In fact, I think they should make money. In fact, I think the idea that making money from Let's Plays is possible is essential, because I feel like game criticism and game journalism is in the process of deprofessionalizing. And in fact, all criticism is kind of deprofessionalizing. And like in the film world, this is something I've seen people talk about for many years, that the rise of fan sites and fan bloggers has basically made it much more difficult to have a career as a critic. And I know this is true in gaming as well. And in fact, just recently we saw websites shutting down. 1UP shut down, and GameSpy, and even people who work for some of the biggest websites. You will be surprised. It's shocking, I learned, how many of these people are not paid, or they're paid like a pittance, not enough to live on. These guys have day jobs, and they're working for some of the biggest websites. There is no money, in being a professional game critic any longer, and this is a huge problem. You will experience a decline in quality because of this. So, I don't approve of this whole trend. I mean, I have no problem with. I basically think I don't have any problem with fan sites, but I think those guys should charge money too. Everyone should be charging money for the content they're creating, because without that, you're going to deprofessionalize the whole industry. And, it just kind of, I don't know. When I was a kid, I always thought being a game critic would be one of the coolest jobs. I mean, it's always been on my list of jobs I wish I could have someday. And it's been with great disappointment that I've watched the viability of that career just decline. It's less and less viable every year, it seems like. And the discovery that I made, learning, whatever, a few years ago, that there were people who had figured out how to make money playing games, and talking about them in the form of Let's Play videos. To me, I was like, this is great, because this is like a new, one door closes and another door opens. The idea of working for a magazine is less and less realistic, but now you can live stream, or you can do things like that, and that's the way to get your critical ideas out there in a way that also can be professional and earn you revenue. And no one's getting like rich doing this, you know what I mean? And I say all this just hypothetically because I haven't monetized any of my videos or anything yet. But someday I might, and I would like to feel like I was within my rights to do so, and I feel like I am in my rights to do so. So basically these companies are being shit, and fuck them. But so I was thinking about this, and thinking about how a Let's Play video is kind of like covering a song, and I started thinking, this suggested a solution to me, because in fact if you cover a song, really you don't have rights to sell your cover. And how do you overcome that? Basically, you have to deal. There's like an organization in music that you deal with that handles this for you, kind of. And if you're like a performing band, you have to register with them, and there's like a fee or whatever. And if you're going to sell a recording of a cover, there's a proper way to do that. And you see people all the time who I'm pretty sure are not following these rules, and people get away with it, but in theory they could choose to come after you if they wanted. And I started thinking, you know what, something just like that could be implemented here. I think this is a good solution that would maybe leave everybody happy, because I also understand Nintendo's concern that they, because of how copyright law works, they have to defend their copyright or they lose the copyright itself. It's weird. It's like they can't cherry pick. They can't say, this Let's Player, we don't really feel like he's doing anything wrong, but this guy is offensive and damaging our brand, so we're going to go after him. They can't do that. They have to go after all Let's Plays or not. And if they don't go after them for a long enough amount of time, then tradition and precedent will establish that it's fair use, and the court looks at that in copyright cases. Has people gotten in trouble for this before, or have people been getting away with this? And if the answer is, oh no, people have been getting away with this for years and years and years, and now all of a sudden you're targeting this guy, the courts will side against you. So they are required to defend their copyright or lose it. So I understand why in their eyes it's like we have to do something about this, because they don't want to lose total control. So this is where my solution comes in. I think it would make both sides happy. That's why it's not going to happen. But the solution is Nintendo and other developers and third parties and publishers and things like that could establish like a registry that you opt into that basically allows you to then do this kind of thing. And there could be like an affordable but not completely non-existent fee. So maybe something like $50. $50 a year, and for that year I can live stream Nintendo videos, or I can make videos of Nintendo and monetize them legally. And if I'm popular, I might make a bunch of money. If I'm not popular, I don't make a bunch of money. Who knows? But it's an upfront fee. Nintendo gets a little cut. Nintendo gets a little bit of editorial control. Like if you're a neo-Nazi or something really damaging to their brand, and they don't want you doing shit, they could maybe use this as a way to kind of stop you. But if you're just an ordinary person celebrating their product, and I think that the popularity of these videos depends on the personality. I mean, there's a million videos of Mario 3. So why does one video of Mario 3 have 10 million views and another video has 200? The answer is because people relate to the guy who's popular better, and it's his personality that's really driving the revenue. So I think it's appropriate for Nintendo to get like a flat fee. Here's your flat fee to have the right to make this video, and for the guy who makes the video, or the girl, or whatever, you know what I mean. For the person who makes the Let's Play, let them get however much revenue they can. Maybe you lose money, potentially. But a solution like that I think would work well. I don't expect anything like that to happen, at least not in the near term, because I just think setting that sort of stuff up, I mean, suppose you wanted to do it properly, and you don't want to have this issue, so you want to get some kind of license from Nintendo, the way like an old publisher of strategy guides might do, Although a lot of strategy guides were unofficial. They would say unauthorized. They got away with that shit because it's fair use. It's obviously fair use. but somehow a Let's Play video is not the same. But if you were making like a strategy guide, generally though you would like license the rights to reproduce images and stuff or something like that. If you as a random person making a video want to do that, it is fucking impossible. They will not. Like, what are you going to do? Call up Nintendo and ask them to give you a price point on, licensing video Mario Galaxy to make a video of it or something? They will not talk to you. they don't talk to normal, ordinary people. It's just not. It's frustrating when it's like they want to act like you're doing something illegally, and it's not even like there's an option. In a sense, I think if they had something like what I'm talking about, then that would give them an ability to get a little money, get a little editorial control over some stuff like that, while still leaving it. And it would basically cause people who were doing it illegally to have no excuse. You know what I'm saying? And then, then that would give Nintendo, in my opinion, more authority. And they could allow the Let's Play community and all the good things that come out of it to continue to exist without having to lose the right to defend their copyright or anything like that. I don't know. What do you think? Am I crazy? I don't think so, but some people might think so. Anyway, yeah, let's end this video here. Tomorrow, you probably won't even be seeing this until tomorrow, but from when I'm recording this, tomorrow is the big Xbox reveal. For the new Xbox. Maybe I'll do another video about that. What? That'd be awesome. Now I have serious concerns about the future of the console industry. That's another video. Okay, cool. Let me know what you think, paisanos, and feedback appreciated. Some of it I will incorporate, some of it I will tactfully ignore, like you do. And yeah, cool. Until next time, paisanos.